peaceful Yoruba village surrounded by palm trees, cheerful children, and the sound of birds and drums. Girl who loved drums. In the warm village of Itale lived a cheerful girl named Tinu, but everyone called her Tinu. She loved music more than anything. Every evening, she sat under the big mango tree watching the village drummers play their talking drums, gon gon, gon gon, pa pa pa. Tinu always dreamed of having her own drum. But her parents were farmers, and drums were expensive. One afternoon, while helping her mother fetch water by the stream, she heard something strange, a soft, dum, 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 coming from the bushes. "Who's there?" she asked, her eyes wide. "Shoo, over here," said a tiny, rumbling voice. Tinu looked closer and saw an old wooden drum, half buried in the mud, with carvings of animals around its edge. She brushed off the dirt and touched it gently, and suddenly, the drum spoke. "Ah! At last, someone found me," the drum said in a deep, friendly voice. Tinu jumped back. "Yee! A talking drum?" The drum chuckled. "Don't be afraid, little one. My name is I, the drum of wisdom. I only speak to those with pure hearts." Tinu couldn't believe her ears. She lifted the drum and took it home. That night, as the moon shone bright, she couldn't resist tapping it once. Dum, dum, dum. Suddenly, whoosh! Tornado! A swirl of colorful lights filled the room, and Tinu was lifted off her mat into the air. When she opened her eyes, she was no longer in her hut, she stood in a land made of rhythm and colors. Trees were humming, rivers were singing, and clouds danced to the beat. "Welcome to Ironland, the kingdom of music," said I the drum. "But beware, to return home, you must solve 3 riddles of sound. Fail, and you'll stay here forever." Tinu gulped. "Okay, I'll try my best." Riddle, the talking river. Tinu and I walked to a glittering blue river that sang softly. The river said, "I have no mouth, but I speak. I have no feet, yet I run. What am I?" Tinu thought hard. She looked at the water flowing. "You are a river," she shouted. The river smiled, splashing joyfully. "You are wise, child. You may pass." A shining note flew into her drum. 1 riddle down. Riddle, the dancing tree. Next, they reached a tall talking tree swaying to invisible music. The tree asked, "I dance without legs. I whisper without a mouth. What am I?" Tinu closed her eyes and listened to the breeze blowing through the branches. "It's the wind," she said confidently. The tree clapped its leaves happily. "Correct. You truly listen with your heart." Another glowing note flew into I. 2 riddles solved. Full Moon Chapter 5, the 3rd riddle, the silent drum. At last, they reached a quiet hill, where a large golden drum sat silently. The golden drum said, "I am full of sound, yet I make no noise until I'm touched. Who am I?" Tinu frowned. "A drum," she guessed. The golden drum smiled slowly. "Yes, child. And so are you." Tinu blinked. "Me?" "Yes," said I. "Inside every heart is a rhythm, courage, kindness, and wisdom. You just have to play it." At that moment, I began to glow bright. The 3 notes from the riddles flew into his body and merged into one shining light. "Now, Tinu," said I gently, "beat your drum and go home." Glowing Star Chapter 6, The Return Home. Tinu lifted eye and played softly, dum, dum, pa pa pa. The ground spun again, colors, sounds, laughter, and suddenly she was back in her hut. Morning light streamed in. Her mother called, Tinu. It's time to fetch water. Tinu smiled. She looked down. The talking drum sat quietly beside her bed, no longer glowing, but still warm. She whispered, "Thank you, I." From that day, Tinu became the youngest drummer in Ikale village. Her beats told stories of bravery, wisdom, and magic, and whenever she played, people said they could almost hear a gentle voice singing along. Dum, dum, dum. Be brave, little one, your rhythm is your power. Red Heart lesson of the story. Be brave, listen carefully, and use your mind. Fear fades when you believe in yourself, just like Tinu.